It's time for the Brouhaha Sports Show. Brouhaha Sports with award-winning sports writer Dale McKee and co-host Marshall Wood. Talking sports with the legends of the game and famous sports personalities. Brouhaha! Now to Marshall and Dale with tonight's guest.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brouhaha. Marshall and Dale here, ready to saddle up and ride this old Brouhaha mule another week. How you doing, Dale?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing fine, buddy. I know we've got guests we want to get to, but let's just start. I'm really liking. I've become a big fan of the sideline view. Let's do a cursory review here of the sideline review here to get our program started. I noticed some things. You know, I'm excited. We're in August. High school football season is starting. College football is back, as you say. What's going on with our state schools? I mean, Mississippi State and Ole Miss, they getting ready to go?
I think they are. They all going to start practice this week for getting ready for their season openers on September the 3rd. And
all of them open on the 3rd?
Yeah.
Who are they opening with?
Well, State will open with Memphis State, and you know Memphis State won that controversial game at the Liberty Bowl last year, so State might have a little revenge on that.
They get them in Stark Vegas this year.
Yeah, they do, and you know I was reading something. State hadn't lost to Memphis State back-to-back years since 1983 and 84, so they got a little history there. That's a long time. Ole Miss going to play Troy, and Troy University was about 5-6 last year, and they had an offensive coordinator from Southern Miss named Chip Lindsey running the show over there, but they didn't do good for about 3 years, so they let him go and they've hired someone else.
Well, I tell you what, Ole Miss and Southern both play Troy this year.
Yeah. That's one of Southern's conference games now. And Southern's going to open with Liberty University and the great Hugh Freeze. Coming to Hattiesburg.
Boy, Freeze is back in Mississippi.
Yeah, and of course the Golden Eagles went to their Sun Belt Conference media days in New Orleans last week, and they were chosen 5th in a 7-team West Division. Well,
you know, we talk about Southern Miss, and you know, they had a pretty good transfer portal too, and you know, we got a couple of Wayne County guys going to be on that defensive line this year. I'm excited about, but you know, they're not getting a lot of preseason love that I know about. What are people saying? Maybe 3 or 4 wins. J-Mar just won't give up, will he?
He will.
We're going to catch him one of these days.
He had such a good season up there for Birmingham.
Yeah.
He sure did. But no. I think, you know, I think they're, I hate to say this, but, you know, they've got a demanding early schedule when you're playing Liberty and Miami that are probably going to be favored. I would assume that Liberty will come down here probably.
They're a 3-point favorite right now.
Yeah, and, I mean, it could jump higher.
Yeah.
Really, if you're a 3-point favorite, that means that, you know, the home team usually should be the 3-point favorite or 7-point favorite, but those bookmakers are not too far off. I've seen that over the years, you know.
I'm going to tell you, I got some folks telling me that Southern Miss is a lock on that one.
Well, you know what? It's just Southern Miss still has an unproven quarterback. Liberty's going to have an unproven quarterback, but Hugh Freeze's offense, of course, you probably read about the little raise that DK Metcalf got last week.
I did.
By Seattle. And, of course, you know, earlier, like at Christmas time, A.J. Brown was traded from Tennessee to Philadelphia, and he got a little raise, too.
DK said this morning, I read an article on him today, and he said, I wasn't going anywhere. I was just funning. He said, I believe I'd have held on to that one, don't you?
Yeah.
He got the money, though.
But you know, he's a free agent, I mean, in 2027 season, so that's only 5 years. And I think that DK, you know, he's only got like a 3-year deal. So so those boys will get another big payday maybe if they keep going.
They'll get another one. Dad, we may come back to the sideline view in the last segment, but I tell you what, let's talk about our next segment. Talk about our guest you got lined up for us tonight.
Oh, was it my week to do that again? Okay.
Oh, yo, I didn't tell you.
Well, okay. Well, I'll call somebody during the break.
Okay, we're gonna call. So I tell you, what'd be interesting is somebody from the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. Maybe somebody on.
Well, we'll just call up there and see who we can get.
Who's running that outfit up there?
There's a guy named Bill Blackwell.
Bill Blackwell.
Yeah, I could call him, see what he's up to. I actually saw him this weekend, Friday and Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
I sure did.
Yeah.
So,
well, I tell you what, let's get him. I know we're going to get him. So, folks, our guest tonight is going to be the Executive Director of the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame, Mr. Bill Blackwell. So we're going to take a break here from a sponsor, and then Dale and I are going to be back. Dale's going to get him on the phone. Folks, you just stand by and see what happens. We'll be right back after the break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
welcome to the show, Bill Blackwell with the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. How are you doing today, Bill?
Doing great, Dale.
Well, that's great. Well, listen, I'll just get right into it. Tell me about your weekend. How'd things go in Jackson this weekend?
We had a great weekend. We had close to 700 people at the formal induction on Saturday. We had probably 300 to 400 people getting autographs on Saturday morning, and about 400 and some at the podium. All of the inductees were very pleased with the way everything went and really enjoyed the weekend.
Well, they should have. I thought it was just being present there for the whole weekend. I think it was really good, but in meeting every one of your inductees, I just noticed one thing about them. They were very, very humble people. And they were just so gracious, and I was very proud of Kermit Davis Sr. and Bob Tyler for getting to enjoy this moment, especially at their age. And
that was a special time, especially for those two and for Coach Willis Wright. All three should have been in the Hall of Fame earlier and never got the support. And I'm just very happy that they were alive to enjoy the weekend and the honor.
I mean, Coach Tyler must be hitting 90, and I think Kermit Senior's about in his mid-80s. So that is really good. That is really special. And I like to comment that, and you might want to, if you remember the quote Coach Tyler told us about him sitting in the chancellor's office at Ole Miss after. I think they had made the coaching change at Ole Miss from Coach Vaught to Coach Kennard. Do you remember what he said during that time? He said
yeah, he was talking about sitting there talking to the chancellor, hoping that he could find a job. And they came in, and the secretary told him he had an important phone call from his wife. And he took it there in the chancellor's office, and it was from Bear Bryant. And he told him he had to be in New Orleans at such and such a hotel by sometime that evening. And so he ran home to Water Valley, backed up the wife in the car, and headed to New Orleans. He said he thought it was the fastest trip he'd ever taken to New Orleans.
That was a great story, and I've never really heard that. And of course, being based out of the Waynesboro radio area here, and Leakesville's not far down the road, and Kermit Davis. I think the team had won 3 games before Kermit Sr. got there when he coached there for that year, and the next year they were like 25-3, something like that. And I think the girls were even better than that, weren't they? Like 37-1 or something like that.
They were 33-4, I believe it was, and they got to the state championship game. Yeah. So for 1 year in Leakesville, he did a heck of a job boys win 23 and the girls win 33.
Yeah, that's awesome the way you can turn around a program just one person and everything. You know a lot about Barry Lyons, and you've probably known him as long as I've known him, since his Delta State days. I thought it was a great honor for him, and boy, he's such a humble guy. And you know, I was just very pleased. And I think Barry's claim to fame, besides playing on the '86 Mets, which is a pretty high achievement in itself, but him bringing minor league baseball to the Gulf Coast, and we already had one team in Mississippi. That's I thought that was a great plan by Barry to get minor league baseball down there. And you're an old baseball guy. What was your thoughts on Barry being in there?
Barry was on the very first team I was a general manager for in Shelby, North Carolina, in the Mets organization. He played for me the next year in Columbia, South Carolina, and then came here and went from there. I followed him a couple years later, but he always had a vision of putting a pro team in Biloxi, and he worked at it for probably close to 10 years before it became a reality, and I don't think there's anybody that appreciates it more than Barry does now.
That's true. Now, just reflecting one thing, because you know Barry's been on our show before too. But now, did Barry go directly from AA Jackson Mets to the major league roster, or did he?
Yes, he did. He was in AA in 1985. They won the championship here, and Barry was the Mets minor league player of the year. Had over 100 RBIs in a 140-game season, and he made the big league club the next spring. They had traded for a guy named Gary Carter, and so Barry made the club out of spring training as the backup. Had a minor wrist injury, and after I think he played 8 or 9 games that year, all early in the season, never got called back up because of the wrist injury, and spent time in the minor leagues, but he did go from Jackson to the big leagues in a roundabout way.
He sure did. But you know, just I guess we could talk 5-10 minutes on each one of the selections that you made. You have a swimmer. Swimmers don't get a lot of publicity, but she was a great athlete, because anytime, to me, some of the best athletes are swimmers, because they don't have much body fat on them, I don't think, and they got a lot of wind too. And Maggie Bowen.
As Maggie said the other night, you don't get a lot of notoriety as a swimmer, but she said she inherited her dad's competitive nature, and she ended up setting 26, I think it was, NCAA records. She set like 14 or 16 SEC records, and all types of Auburn records. And obviously was very talented at what she did.
Sure do. And of course, Coach Willis Wright, he was just a great football coach. Eric Moles really impressed me with him being as humble as he was. And I just thought
he looks like he could still play, doesn't he? He might be a linebacker rather than a wide receiver, though.
Oh my goodness, yeah. He could still play basketball, probably. He probably plays church league and dominates there. I was surprised that he said that he could have probably played college basketball. I didn't know. I knew he was a great athlete, but you just didn't know. You know, Division I teams want you for basketball and football. That's pretty impressive, you know. And
well, I think he could have played college basketball, whether to extend it to a pro is anyone's guess. I think he probably made the right choice getting in a 13 or 14-year career in the NFL.
He sure did, and I was so proud that he seemed so proud of his Mississippi roots, and that he came from Mississippi. Hey, you want to tell our audience about that story about who came in the locker room for the first game he was going to play for in the pros?
Well, they opened the season against the Chicago Bears, and that was in the glory days of a guy named Sweetness, Walter Payton. And Eric said, here he is, a rookie, sitting in the Bills locker room, getting ready, nervous before his first game, and in walks Walter Payton, and Walter knew who he was, where he was from, a lot about him, and just told him, congratulations on making the club, and keep your head about you and play hard, and it made quite an impression on a young Eric Moles.
Yes, it would make a great impression on me. Walter Payton visited me and wished me luck like that. Well, listen, it was a great weekend, and I really enjoyed it from a personal standpoint. Met a lot of good people, and met some old friends again, and caught up. And now, how many members do you have now? And since you inducted 8 this year.
That gets our number up to 335 inductees.
Okay, and now y'all went up from. It's been 6 inductees in the past. This was the first year it was going to be 8. Is that going to continue to 8?
Yes. We've got over 200 nominees, all of them deserving, and it's such a slow process to get people into the Hall of Fame. There's some people that are very deserving that have been looked over or passed by. Once you're nominated forever. So our board of directors at my nagging increased that to 8 per year from now on going forward.
Oh, well, that's great. That's great. And now tell us some of the other activities. I thought one activity that you did this year was very unique, and I thought it was great. And every high school has a homecoming and reunion, but you had a reunion for a minor league baseball team this summer up there. Tell us about that.
Well, that was put on by the former Mets players. The Lynchburg club, which was always the high A club for the Mets, had a reunion a couple of years ago. And I'd had people talking about it. But Bill Hetrick, who has passed away, and some of the former players all wanted to have a reunion here, and we ended up with 40 guys that came back over the, 12, 13-year period that the Mets were here, and we had 40 of them come back, including guys like Randy Myers and Darryl Strawberry, many of the names you'd remember. Billy Bean was scheduled to come, and he had some COVID in his family at the last minute, but had a great time at that reunion, and we were just proud to be able to host part of it at the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Hey, Bill, listen, this is Marshall, and Dale lets me speak every once in a while, but most of the time I'm running the clock, so I've got to holler when it's time to stop. But we all got our place, and I'm sure thankful for mine. But we want to thank you, listen, for what you do for the state of Mississippi and the sports, and we appreciate you. And we thank you for taking time for being with us today, Bill. We appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you guys talking about us and letting people know what we're doing and why we're doing it. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and the only way we have to make money is through sponsorships and ticket sales for events like this weekend. So it was a big weekend for the Hall of Fame.
Well, we're going to get it all posted on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. And listen, again, thank you. We're going to have to cut you loose right now, but you be careful out there. And thanks for being with us, Bill. We appreciate you, okay?
Thank you, Bill.
Very good. Thank you, guys.
All righty. Goodbye, sir. Okay, we're going to take a break now. We appreciate Bill being with us. We're going to take a break and then come back for the final segment of tonight's Brouhaha right after this word from our sponsor.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome back to the Brouhaha, everyone, for our final segment tonight. I got to tell you, Dale, I knew. You know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. You know what? There really is. But I will just say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone. You did it. I mean, you
barely, folks, barely.
You got no clue how close we were to that one getting off of the line, brother.
Hey, we threw the hook out there. We're hoping the worm did his job.
Oh, what a neat guy. I mean, you know, and I tell you, you can just tell he loves what he does and he's doing what he loves. And that's hard to beat, brother, when you get in a position like that. And it's obvious.
It is.
Yeah. You had a good time up there, didn't you?
Oh, I did. Listen, people ought to go up there. It's just so unique. You know, there was things, so many things on that they were auctioning off. And I actually got a Gardner Minshew football helmet signed.
You saw her joke.
Sure did.
What do you take for it? But they have a Brouhaha auction up here. What do you give it a good one? I got a $10 here now. I got a 10, get a 10, I get a 15.
You know, they gave away 2 suite tickets, auctioned off 2 suite tickets to any Mississippi State football game you want to go to. I actually bid on that, but I didn't get it. They had a size 18 Al Jefferson basketball shoe.
That's a big shoe.
Size 18. Yeah. That's a big shoe. He's an NBA basketball player from Prentice, Mississippi. And his wife's from Waynesboro.
Really?
Yeah.
Small world.
It is. She was a Lewis. And let me see. They had a Michael Jordan, one of his shoes. They had Eric Moles, of course, Eli Manning, Eric Moles, Archie Manning, all of them had jerseys there. They probably had over 100 items they were auctioning off. The item that went for the most was a signed baseball helmet, an Ole Miss baseball helmet, batting helmet, by David DeLucia, and it went for $2,200. Pretty good, wasn't it?
That's a good chunk right there.
Yeah, so Hall made some money off the boys this weekend, you know.
That's good.
So it was pretty good.
Well, let's see what else we can talk about here for a minute.
Lord, embarrassing.
Yeah, you know.
Is it one of them days?
You know, I kind of want to talk. Here's some odds and ends. I'm an odds and ends kind of guy.
You look it. You look like you are.
I'm an odds and ends kind of guy. Let's talk about your Brouhaha. Well, no, forget that. We're going to talk about your Brouhaha. We're going to live it. But anyway, let's talk about your sideline view again. We've got some odds and ends. Hit us up and bring us up to the speed on your odds and ends right here. Let's talk about Ole Miss.
Well,
how many players do our Mississippi schools have in the NFL? NFL's getting ready. Got the Hall of Fame game coming up pretty quick, right? Mm-hmm. So how many football players does Mississippi, the Big Three, we'll call them, have in the?
I'd say 72.
72.
72 are in preseason camps.
Oh, okay. 72 are in preseason camp. Is that J-Mar trying to get it? He's texting now. Bless his heart. We're going to get him on the show. But anyway, 72. Where are these 72? Where do they come from in the state of Mississippi?
Well, right now, Ole Miss has 32 former Rebels in the National Football League preseason football camps, followed by 29 from Mississippi State and 11 from USM. And they're trying to make the team.
Oh, trying to make it.
Trying to make
that team.
Trying to make that team.
You know, we got a local guy that's on a roster You know? Yeah, Benito Jones.
Benito Jones, is he from here?
He is. And let me tell you something I saw on him the other day.
What's that?
Somebody sent me a screenshot of the Madden. You ever heard of the Madden game? It's a big deal. Mm-hmm. And they got the 10 toughest guys, and he's one of them.
No.
Yes, sir. Had him on the Madden deal, one of the tough guys.
It must be from that caliber Ole Miss did on him that time. Remember Ole Miss and the SEC ran a documentary on him about his cattle farm?
Yeah. That must have got him in there in toughness.
Well, all I know
I got a cow.
He's country strong, probably.
I got a cow.
Yeah.
I'm pretty make me tough.
Yeah. And everything. But, I mean, it was a good weekend. You know, Will Clark got... the
Thrill.
The Thrill got inducted into the San Francisco Giants. So, you know, they retired his number. And it was so neat on the outfield. They kind of, you could see it from above. They had him swinging with the number 22. You know, they'd cut it out in the grass. It was very unique. And, of course, I'm just going over my odds and ends. You know, the Mississippi Braves and Shuckers are going to start a 6-game series starting tonight, Tuesday night in Jackson. And, you know, they played 18 times this year, and they're 9-9 against each other.
Pretty evenly matched, I'd say.
Yes, sir. They got this 6-game series, and they got another one in September. Did you hear about Deion Sanders? He's got too much money. He's giving it away.
Giving it away. Yeah, but Deion, I love that guy. I'm just telling you, I've always been a Deion Sanders fan.
He got on the governor here a couple of years. Yeah, he got on the governor.
He swings a big stick now, and I'm telling you, he really does. I think his annual salary up there is about $300,000. He's just going to give half of that to them to help with their building program, something like that. Is that what that is?
Jackson's the football facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's he's done a fantastic job.
He really is.
Just getting everybody involved, and it's just not Jackson State that's benefiting. There's a lot of colleges now are seeing what Jackson State did and what Ashley Robinson did to AD.
Yeah.
Greatest move. Yeah, that's a great move. Yeah, we're going to have some football on Thursday night now here. Jacksonville's going to play Las Vegas Raiders. And, of course, I know Jacksonville's got Evan Ingram. He used to play at Ole Miss, tight end. Mm-hmm. And then Las Vegas Raiders' backup quarterbacks from Southern Miss named Nick Mullins.
Oh, Mullins. He's been around, hasn't he?
He has.
Yeah, he's hanging in there.
Of course, you did hear about high school football. It's going through September. They're going to play at 7:30.
Yeah.
7:30. So, you know, that's my odds and ends in my column. And old Mississippi boy for Atlanta Braves, Austin Riley from DeSoto Central. He may be the MVP of the National League. The old boy in the month of July hit 26 doubles.
He was stroking it, wasn't he?
Hank Aaron's record is 25.
Man.
You break a Hank Aaron record.
You've done something.
Yeah. And Austin hit for the month of July, he hit 423, he hit 11 home runs, 14 doubles, drove in 25 runs. And the Braves went 18-8, which means that the Braves, they are still chasing them New York Mets, but they're getting, you know, old Buck Showalter's manager up there. Now, he's from Mississippi.
What a name. I love that name. Buck Showalter.
Yes, sir.
He sounds like a good one.
Buck. And you heard about our two Mississippi Ole Miss wide receivers hitting the lottery last week.
It's a pair of good ones, boy.
Old DK got $72 million extension that includes $58.2 guaranteed.
That's real money there, boy.
Along with
guaranteed
a $30 million signing bonus. What'd you do with $30 million?
Well, now let me ask you something. So he gets a $30 million signing bonus. Mm-hmm. So that's money in the bank right there. He gets that up front.
Well, I assume it can't be out of the 72 because if you add 58 and 30 up, that's 88.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's different.
That's that Seahawk math.
Yeah.
It's that West Coast math.
Well, you know, he's going to be a free agent in 3 years and probably hit the jackpot again if he's pretty good at it. Of course, he's probably followed my training program if you've ever seen him before without his shirt on. I think he read my book on how to build up your body a little bit there.
I want to say something about him and his coach out there, Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is a player's guy. He's a player's coach. And anyway, DK went into their complex. This is before the draft. I guess they were talking to him and evaluating him, and he walked up in there and he went into the boardroom
Yeah.
He might throw it when he's supposed to run it, but other than that, he'll do pretty good.
Yep. Hey, but anyway, but listen, I told you earlier about one comment I heard in Jackson for the Wayne County football fans out there. I've got
come on with it. This is going to be a showstopper here. I've
got to tell you, Wayne County football. You know, Wayne County football is known from North Mississippi to South Mississippi, and don't think it's not. And even though we probably haven't been like we want to be the last, 5 or 6 years, we're getting back, and it's going to take a little time, but I think we're going to get there. But there was a coach inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend named Willis Wright. He coached at South Panola for many years. He coached state championship team at Starkville in the mid-'80s, and then he went to South Panola. And he is really the architect of the South Panola football factory. I know Lance Poe got the credit for a lot of it.
Ricky Woods did too.
And Ricky Woods, but after he retired, he came back as a coordinator. And one night, but anyway, he was an assistant coach at South Panola for 5 years after he had retired. He was just helping out. And I think he was the defensive coordinator, might have been the offensive coordinator.
DC.
Okay. But during that 5-year deal, they said it on the stage that the South Panola teams went 74-1. I'm going to let all the Wayne County fans figure out who that one loss was, because y'all will be very proud of who beat them.
And proud we are. But listen here, folks, we're also out of time. Dale and I want to thank you for joining us tonight. We certainly want to let our guests know, Bill, how much we appreciate him and all the work he does for sports in the state of Mississippi. Be sure to remember that you can follow us during the week on our Facebook page at the Brouhaha, and you can see listen to our interviews on our our YouTube channel at the Brouhaha. But for now, it's time for us to do this thing that we really hate to do, and that is it's time to say goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, Dale.
And we'll see you next week for more of the Brouhaha. Take us out of here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Dale McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.